Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 4 of Mariners TV. I'm your host, back again, Tyson Scott with Carly.
Welcome
Carly,
back.
good to see you.
Yeah, it's good. We had a bit of an extended fortnight this time around. We did have last week off due to a few things happening, but yeah, good to be back.
Good to be back, and I guess for all Mariners fans tuning in today, huge show. It's been a big day for Mariners fans, and I guess we will be addressing the elephant in the room.
Yes.
And we're lucky to have Adam Peacock and Gatt joining us. So, huge show. Can you give us a bit of a run through of what we've got today, Carly?
Yeah, so we've got our former NPL captain, Michael Glassock, joining us. He spent the season over in Hong Kong, so he's back in Australia, so we'll be chatting to him. Obviously, as you mentioned, we've got Adam Peacock and Gatt. We'll be chatting a few things football there. We'll be hearing from Dan Hall, who's part of our NPL team. He's been helping out around the club, doing some things to help give back to the academy during this time. And then we will be announcing the winner of our Xbox competition thanks to Mate. So during the week, we asked some people to nominate one of their mates. I'm going to use the word mate a lot in this segment. Nominate a mate, someone who's been either doing it tough or someone that just really could use a bit of a pick-me-up during this time. So we had some fantastic entries. So yeah, we'll be announcing the winner of that. So if you entered, keep watching and yeah.
So it's a huge show. Like we said, everything's going to be on the table when it comes to the chat with Adam Peacock and Gatt, which we're really looking forward to. We're going to discuss all of the big Mariners issues that have obviously been doing the rounds in the media circle today and social media. So we're going to address that. We're going to get Adam Peacock and Gatt's thoughts on that. And we're going to take a look at the A-League as well, get a bit of an update to find out what's happening around the traps, when we can see the ball rolling again, and when the team could potentially be back to training. But I guess before we get into that, we have had some amazing Mariners news during the week. Can you tell us a bit more about that, Carly?
Yes, so there's more wedding bells. We had obviously last show we spoke about Jack and Siobhan Clisby. This week, Mark Birighitti got married to his wonderful partner Carly. So that happened over in Perth. So congratulations to them.
Congratulations to the Birighittis, and I guess after each week, you really need to celebrate the good news when it comes in these situations. So a huge congratulations to Mark and Carly on their wedding during the week. I guess getting back into the nitty gritty and the Mariners, obviously working in any environment at the moment is extremely tough for people around the country, and the guys at the Mariners as well too. I guess are down to a skeleton staff, and they're in a similar situation to a lot of the people who watch this show and a lot of Mariners fans. So before we get into the Q&A with Michael Glassock, I just wanted to ask you, Carly, can you give our fans a bit of an insight to what's happening at the Mariners at the moment? I guess with administration, there's obviously people behind the scenes that are working really hard. Can you give our fans at home a bit of an update from the administration side of things, what's happening at the moment?
Yeah, so I mean, it's down to a bit of a skeleton crew at the moment. Only, a few staff that are only working a couple of days a week. Everyone's got their own different circumstances at the moment. So it is very weird walking into the office and not sort of having everyone there, because it's normally, we work with some fantastic people, and to sort of not see them every day is they become part of your family. So I miss them a lot. I know they probably don't miss me, but yeah. So it's been tough, but where everyone who is still there is working so hard behind the scenes, because we want to make sure that everything's ticking over, and we're still delivering what we can for our sponsors and making sure that when the season does kick off, we're right there ready to go, and we're able to do things better than ever. So we're sort of taking this time to sort of clean up things that we haven't had the chance to do beforehand. Even actually physically cleaning up things. So we've got I don't know if many people know, we have this little hut down near the training ground. It's a little old house. It gets used for storage and things like that. It's currently being cleaned up so that some of our academy can actually use it and make use of it once the season's back. So just trying to bring things back up and make sure that we are ready and rolling when the season starts.
And plenty of unique challenges. Obviously for yourself, you're a marketing manager. You've got Dave there, media manager. There's no players, there's no football. So can you tell us a little bit more about, I guess, the positive things that you and the staff are doing in the time where there is no football?
Yeah, I mean, he's going to hate me for saying it, but the most positive thing at the moment is Sean, our CEO. He's probably watching this and wanting me to not go on about him, but I mean, he's a dad of 4 kids, and his wife's at home trying to, she's working, extra to try and keep their family going and that sort of thing. But he is putting everything he can into making sure that our staff are feeling like I don't know, like we're still wanting to go in and give everything because we know he's so passionate about it, and he's sort of like the dad to us all, really, and that sort of thing. And yeah, it's without having access to players and all of that, it is tricky because there's what do you market? So you obviously choose Marvin, who is a big personality on soccer Twitter and all of that. So yeah, we've been doing a lot with Marvin. He's been wanting to do a couple of things, and yeah, we've been just trying to make sure that our members are still engaged. We actually had a Marvin colouring in competition during the week, and one of our entries was from a 4-year-old named Noah. So I think we've got his there. Very colourful. Unreal. Marvin, isn't it beautiful? So that got sent in. So we'll be sending him out a drink bottle to say thank you for that. And so Marvin's been hitting the gym. He's also been doing some things around the grounds. So we've got a couple of videos that we'll show now, so you can see what he's...
Before we get into, I guess, the video of Marvin, enjoy your day off on Friday, by the way, for giving Sean such a big pop-up, so enjoy that. I guess more of a tougher question for you when you're, in situations like you've had today, when you wake up and you see news like you did this morning on social media, and then, for someone like me who has worked at the Mariners, even as the media manager, you're in those situations where, you see news that's either out of your control or out of your power. You go to barbecues or you talk to people and all they want to talk to you about is what's going on at the Mariners, I guess. Yeah. And you give the fans a bit of an insight as to what it's like when you do wake up and you see news like that. How do the staff handle that? And what's that like at the Mariners when you go through a situation like this?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that happens is you wake up and you go, oh, this news cycle again, awesome. So that is really hard, especially, when things pop up out of the blue and you're not quite sure where it's come from or all of that. So, but I mean, we've got really good communication. So, we get briefed as to, where this may have come from or where it hasn't come from and things like that. It is hard. It's very tricky, especially when, you're out and about and people want to talk to you, about the Mariners and things that are going on and who's being signed. And obviously, a lot of the stuff you don't actually even have answers for because, as the marketing manager, what do I know, really? So that is really hard, but you sort of still want to make sure that you're having that positive conversation about the Mariners because, I understand what it is like to be a fan because before I was working here, I was, a crazy fan that would, watch them every single week, and so I understand where that passion comes from. And yeah, sometimes to sort of not have the answers to some of these really tricky questions is hard. But that's why there is the staff still working there trying to keep things ticking along and making sure that the Central Coast Mariners, are ready to go.
And just before we move on to the Marvin video that everyone's been waiting for, I guess, you're one of the longest serving staff members and, you're really close with a lot of the people you work with. You're all from the Central Coast. A lot of you are born and raised on the Central Coast, I guess. I'm sure people at home would like to hear how committed you and the staff are to making sure that the club is a huge success on the Central Coast. Oh,
I'm the biggest advocate for the Central Coast. I worked in Sydney for a couple of years and I'll never do it again. I absolutely live and breathe the Central Coast, and I know that every single person working there is exactly the same. We love the fact that, our players are living on the coast and we really embrace it. And everyone in the office actually comes from their little part of the coast. Some are from the peninsula, some are from a bit up north. A little bit of banter that goes on, Yamita Beach and things like that. There's nowhere else we would want to be. Central Coast is where the Mariners are, and as Sean said on Twitter before, we've got to make sure that the sauce bottles stay next to the palm trees.
Which they are today, luckily. Yep. We look forward to going into that more in depth with Adam Peacock and Ray Gatt later in the show. But like you said, Marvin's been busy.
He's always busy.
What's he been up to?
So he spent some time down at the training grounds because he heard that training might be back soon, so he wanted to make sure that the grounds were up to scratch. And then he also got challenged on Twitter by some random hedgehog-looking mascot. I can't remember. Dave might have to...
a Korean mascot.
That's it, Korean.
Yeah.
He's a hedgehog or something. So he decided that he probably should start some home workouts.
Okay.
He's obviously been, watching a lot of people on Instagram, so he got inspired. So we'll have a look at that.
Let's take a look. Marvin, what a guy.
Good stuff. I think we're going to have to try and get a bigger lawnmower so Marvin can fit in it.
Will we ever hear Marvin talk? I'm interested.
He's the strong, silent type.
Okay.
I think his face says it all, really.
True. Well, good to see that Marvin's keeping busy and keeping fit during self-isolation. Another guy on the Central Coast who is keeping fit during self-isolation is, I guess, a fan favourite you could call here on the Central Coast. Michael Glassock, who is a junior of the Entrance Bateau Bay and Killarney District. And yeah, we're really happy to have him join us here on the show. Michael, have we got you there?
Yeah, g'day guys. How you going?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, very, very good. Good to be here.
Mate, we'll get straight into it. I guess you left for Hong Kong almost a year ago now. Can you give us a bit of an update as to how your time's been, I guess, transitioning into your first professional contract and playing football in Asia?
Yeah, it was a bit of a crazy year with everything that's happened and everything that's gone on. But yeah, it was a great experience for me just to get over there and get some professional experience over there, and ended up playing 20 games over there in the period of time. I would have loved to obviously finished off the season, but due to the coronavirus, it was that sort of put things to a halt everywhere in the world. But yeah, it was a really enjoyable year for me, and yeah, learned a lot about myself, but also my football, and met a lot of great people along the way. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, and so you were captain of our NYL NPL sides for a bit. How important was that journey within the Mariners Academy to get you where you are now?
Yeah, I had a great time, as a junior in the Central Coast Mariners system. I started off when it was Central Coast Lightning, way back in the day. So basically I've been, born and bred on the Central Coast, and I've played all my junior development, for Central Coast, sides. So being a player through the pathway system, and getting some leadership, as you said, under my belt, it's really helped me. And when I went to Hong Kong, that was the first time I've actually left the Central Coast. So it was a bit of a change at the start with everything going on, and especially when sessions are in Cantonese, and you're usually hearing Aussie slang in sessions. There's none of that in Hong Kong, but yeah, it was a good adventure, and I really enjoyed it.
We've seen football come to a halt in most parts of the world at the moment, with a little bit of action getting underway. Can you give the fans a bit of an update as to when we could maybe expect to see you back on the pitch in Hong Kong? What's the latest there, and when can you expect to be back to training or even playing?
Yeah, look, sort of everything's uncertain at the moment. The league has been postponed to around September, but obviously due to some financial stuff, some owners are pulling out of the competition to restart again in hopefully January. So it might be a couple of months when I'm over there, but you just have to wait and see. So yeah, look, they're going to keep me posted, and we'll just have to play it by ear.
Yeah, all right. So when you came back, you did your 14 days of quarantine. When you got out, what was the first thing you did as a free man? Well, my sister and my brother picked me up from the beautiful quarantine, and I had a great time there. Yeah, got to do a lot of stuff in my hotel room, just watching every single Netflix documentary or show that was possible. But yeah, the first thing I did is just went out in the fresh air, went for a walk, obeying the social distancing laws with my brother and sister. And yeah, we just went for a walk around Circular Quay because I was staying at the Darling Harbour Novotel. So it was just really nice to get back to seeing the beautiful blue crystal water of Sydney Harbour. And yeah, then basically came down to the Central Coast in the afternoon, and yeah, been here pretty much since.
Well, I think, like we were saying in the intro, you're a huge fan favourite on the Central Coast. We've got some questions for the fans, which Carly's going to roll into in a second. But before we go into that, you were mentioning that for you, I guess it was first time overseas, a boy who's born and raised on the Central Coast, playing in Hong Kong with people from all over the world. Have you got any stories about, I guess, any of the Aussie slang that you taught them, or anything interesting that you learnt from this mix of, I guess, different cultures that you were playing alongside every day?
Yeah, it was obviously they had no idea what I was saying at the start because I've got quite a thick Australian accent. But they sort of got used to it and made a little bit of fun of me during the year, but that was all in, good spirits and good no harm. So, look, in training, a couple of the Asian boys were going saying, we don't know what you're saying at the start. And that was a bit, difficult, but obviously just had to, be respectful. That's their second language, and they're trying their very best as well. So learn a few words in Cantonese, which helped with communicating on the field. Obviously we had another guy. We had a guy from Argentina who actually didn't speak English or Cantonese, so he was just speaking Spanish. So that even made things even more tricky. But Google Translate came to help us there.
Beautiful. Well, we popped something up on Instagram the other day and asked for some of our fans to send in some questions. So our first one we've got from Hoopalicious. What was it like being in Hong Kong, being such a different society and with all the riots?
Hong Kong's such a vibrant city, and there's so much to do, everywhere basically. Wherever you go, the transport's fantastic, and it was such a cool experience just getting out and about, just seeing the different landscape and different environment. The people were really nice there. Obviously they're very, very respectful. Everywhere we went, it was, real clean environment, and the people were pretty good. But obviously when I was there was a bit of political unrest and there was protests going on in Hong Kong, but we just had to stay away from the areas, and the club were fantastic in just letting us know where the protests might be and where, what places to avoid at different times. So it was a bit tricky, going over there. On weekends you had to be a bit more careful on where you had to go, but I had a great time there, and we just have to wait and see when I get to go back.
Okay, we'll jump into question number 2. Very direct question here for you, Mick. Do you see yourself playing for the Mariners next season?
Look, you never say never, and football's such a funny game, but I'm quite happy where I am at the moment and the environment that I'm in, and I was sort of in the process of getting a new deal over there, but that's been put on a halt. But again, football's a funny game, you never know, and Central Coast is a proud club, and a club that's close to my heart, and you just never say never.
And this one's come in, it's a bit of an interesting one. Is Lachlan Rose the best attacker you have faced? Do you know Lachlan Rose?
I do know Lachlan Rose. He's all right. He probably needs a bit of a haircut, but look, there's a number of great attacking players that I've faced in my time. But the person that gave me probably the most difficulties were the goalkeepers, because they didn't know which way the touch was going to go, and they always fooled me. So Kane Runge, if you're listening, he was he had a left foot weapon. Aidan Mumford was always busy. We used to call him Van Persie, so he was quite good. Rosie was busy as always as well. I've faced a few good attacking weapons, and Rosie's definitely one of them.
All right, we'll roll into the next question. They're very direct, Mick. This one is, how much of a legend is Marvin?
Well, Marvin was all during my childhood. So when I used to go to the Mariners games, I used to see Marvin all the time, and used to always get the high five on the sideline. And Dad used to always have his camera out and the iPhone out to get photos. But Marvin is a bit of a legend, and he's re-emerging as a cult hero from what I'm seeing.
And the final one. So, did you ever think that you wouldn't make it as a footballer, and how did you overcome it?
It's that's a really good question, actually. I had a few doubts, as anyone does during their road to becoming a professional footballer. But I always just stuck true and keep fighting, through tough times that I had. and I just kept pushing and persisting and persevering, and was able to get an opportunity which I just took advantage of, and just had a great time in Hong Kong, playing professionally. And but like anyone, like, you have doubts and you have days where you sort of think, am I doing the right thing by following this dream? But I just kept persisting and kept working hard, and eventually it all paid off, and I'm very happy.
Well, before we let you go, mate, just one last question, I guess. If you're going to be spending a fair bit of time on the Central Coast, it could be a while until you're able to travel internationally. Could we maybe see you down at Tuggerah when things get back to normal? If the opportunity was there to have a session with the Mariners, is that something that you could consider coming down, having a kick, maybe even seeing some of the fans before you head back to Hong Kong?
Yeah, 100%. Like, obviously, I might be here for a while, so I'll probably need to maintain my fitness. So, I might have a training, with the club and see some of the fans along the way. I've always, being a fan of myself, of the club, I always, have time for anyone that, wants to come up and say good day. And, I'm always happy. And, whether it's playing Dan Hall in 1v1 or, going anywhere basically and training with the squad, I'm more than happy. So, we'll just have to wait and see, and hopefully the restrictions ease and we can all get back to what we love and what we want to do.
Well, mate, it's been a pleasure to catch up with you. I know one of your other favourite people at the Mariners is Dan Challoner, who we're about to see from next.
He's a beautiful man. He's a beautiful man.
He's a beautiful man, and we're about to see him in all of his glory in another one of Dan's famous videos. But, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to chat with you. On behalf of the Mariners, we wish you all the best for the rest of your career, and I'm sure that we'll be able to see you on the Central Coast again and out on the pitch soon. So thanks for joining us, mate.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tyson and Carly. You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.
And
great guy.
He's fantastic. So very good to see that he's back on the coast, and hopefully he can start playing some football again soon.
Exactly right. And like we mentioned, I think one of the people who somehow manages to get a mention on every single one of these shows, and even his own segment by the looks of things, is Dan Challoner. Can you give us a bit of an insight as to what this madman has been up to over the last couple of weeks?
As mentioned, we had our mate competition where you could nominate a mate to win a Xbox. Also one for yourself as well, so a nice incentive to nominate someone. And then so we picked 10 people at random yesterday. He went round and delivered a little bag of goodies. It had a few things, so fruit from Fruit for All, some baked goods from Baker's Delight at Erina. Had some chocolates from Central Coast Confectionery, had a bottle of wine, a few other...
He's had a big day, Dan. He's had some chocolate, he's had some wine.
He didn't eat it all.
Did he test the produce?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, we'll confirm that.
He was good. So he's gone and done that, and he put together a little video, which we will see now. And then after the video, we will announce our Xbox winner.
Dan, the media man, here we go.
Team and Dan from the Mariners want to just drop off a little present for you, just as a runner-up for the mate competition.
Fantastic.
I hope you have a fantastic day, mate, and love from the Mariners.
That's
champion,
amazing.
right? So,
yeah, can't wait to see the boys soon.
Absolutely.
When we get back out there. Yeah, thanks so much. That's fantastic.
No worries at all,
really
mate.
appreciate it.
My pleasure. Take a great day, mate.
I can't shake your hand.
No, I
can't
feel the same, mate. It's quite out of my comfort zone right now, so it's standing at 1.5 distance, but
We'll be back to supporting us.
no, fantastic, mate. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, mate. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thanks so much.
bye.
Thank
Hey guys, it's Dan again. I'm just here at Stacey Thomas's house. Her lovely husband, Aaron Thomas, nominated her to win an Xbox. I think it was really for himself to win it, but unfortunately they didn't win. Another runner-up, so we've got some goodies here just to drop off. So here we go. Hope they're home. Hello. Hey Stace, how are you, love? It's Dan from Mariners. Got some goodies here for you. So we'll drop them off down there. There's some adult goodies as well as some kiddie goodies in there as well. So we've got some bread from Baker's Delight, some wine, some fruit for all stuff for you, some chocolate eggs from Central Coast Confectionery, and some toilet roll from Synergy for you. So I hope you enjoy it. No doubt Aaron put himself in to win the Xbox on behalf of you, but unfortunately he didn't win. But enjoy the goodies on behalf of the Mariners, all right? So no worries. Take care, guys. All the best. See you later. Hey guys, it's Dan again. I'm at Nick Phillips' house. He's been nominated by Gabrielle Layla, his sister, for the Mariners Mate competition for winning the Xbox. Unfortunately, he didn't win. He's another runner-up. So we're just going to do he's not home, but we're just going to leave it at the front door and hope he enjoys enjoys his prizes. So I'll just get it out now for him. Hi guys, we're at our last little drop-off now. We're at Tristan Tysdale House. He's been nominated by Adam Eddy just for the mate competition for winning an Xbox. So I'm just going to drop this off now for him. Here we go. Hello, little man. You are a wiggle, aren't you? Can you wiggle? Can you wiggle, man? No wiggles today. Hello, Bulbasaur. There you are, little man. Hi guys, how are you? This is for Tristan for you guys from the Mariners, and there's a goodie bag for you as well in there, Mum, some wine, so you can hide them from Tristan as well, so it's all good. Hey, take care guys, enjoy your day, and see you later. And how do you get Pikachu onto a bus? Pokemon? Do you like that? Do you get that? Oh, that's good. All right, enjoy. Have a lovely day.
Well, there we go, Dan. He's out and about again.
You got a roaring response to that Pokemon joke.
Yeah, man of the people. But thanks to our partner, mate. Yeah, we do have a winner of the Xbox One competition, Carly.
Yes, so our winner was, coming up on the screen, Gabrielle and Nick.
Hey.
So Gabrielle is actually the person who nominated me. Nick. Can't get my words right today. So she wrote something really lovely about, so I believe that he's deserving of this prize. When his father became ill, he moved in with his parents' home to help care for his dad. Unfortunately, his father passed. However, now he's devoted himself to help his mum and ensures that she's looked after. Not only this, but he's very giving. So much he gave away his PlayStation to a single mum doing it tough. He has a big heart and deserves something back. I think that's absolutely just so lovely, and so yes, we'll be in contact with Gabrielle and Nick in the coming days, and we'll get those Xboxes to you.
Congratulations, and yeah, like you said, I guess one positive thing in these horrible circumstances is people like that stepping up and doing such a nice thing, and it's good for you guys to be able to reward them.
Yeah, and a big thank you again to Mate who who donated those Xboxes, so couldn't do it without them.
And I think we're going to hear from our sponsors really quickly before going to our next guest, Dan Hall from the Academy.
Cabs will get you there. Cabs will get you there. 13 cabs will get you there.
Mateship for me is, you know, the art of being a friend. It's always being there when someone calls you, whether it's at midday or midnight, you pick up the phone and you do whatever it is that your friends need. And, you know, there's always times in your life that you need to lean on someone. And that's what Mateship's about. It's always being there and supporting your mates. Australia, choose a provider you can trust like a mate. Call 13 14 13 or visit letsbemates.com.au to sign up today. See you soon, mate.
Peacock, mining and construction, delivering the right people to the right places.
As always, a huge thank you to all of the sponsors at the Central Coast Mariners, especially as well JC Entertainment, where we are today hosting this live stream from. So a huge thank you to all of our sponsors. We were talking a little bit before about all of the work that the staff have been doing, as well as the Mariners Academy. So Ken Shembry, the director of the Mariners Academy, has been working closely with a lot of our players in the academy to not only keep fit, but also help out around the club. So we've got a small video here to show you. Dan Hall and Kyle Johnson have been extremely busy. So let's take a little bit of a look at what they've been up to.
Well, there's been obviously a lot of spare time, but Mariners gave us like a program to do, so I've been trying to follow that, using that as like a framework to try and stay fit, and then on the side just talking to mates, trying to keep busy, so that's about it. A few coaching roles, so I was like helping do like under 10, under 12 J reps, and then as well as like the community coaching, so going out to schools and like putting on programs for them, so that was taking up my time. So obviously can't go out to schools, can't play football, can't do much, so I guess just coming into Mariners and I can do like stock taking, other jobs just like that I guess didn't have time to do when everything was running, so moving gear, setting up stuff for when hopefully we return. Today, just a bit of council work, so Kenny's had Kyle and I just doing, a lot of groundkeeping stuff, so moving boxes, chucking out rubbish, throwing out grass clippings and stuff, so it's been busy, but it's all right. Yeah, so if like the opportunity arises to help out the A-League squad in the last couple games when the season does come back on. Obviously a lot of the youth boys will be knocking at the door, trying to show the boss upstairs what they can do. So yeah, pro football's obviously an aspiration or like a dream, so but just like one day at a time type thing, so not getting too far ahead, just focusing on what I can control.
Great to see so many of the academy players there helping out, staying busy and keeping fit. So, yeah, huge thank you to Dan Hall and Kyle Johnson there for putting in the hard yards outside of training and helping the club. I guess that's what the Mariners is all about. So it's good to see them keeping busy. So without further ado, I guess we'll move on to the most pressing manner here on the show today to talk about what's been happening in the Mariners media circles. To join us, we've got two legends of Australian football media, Ray Gatt and Adam Peacock. Gents, how are we?
Good, thanks, Tyson. Carly, hope you're well. Adam?
Good, thanks. Yes. Well, Gatty's a legend. I'm just an imposter who came in late here. Gatty spent all his life following it.
Well, I think he deserves a round of applause for figuring out how to work Zoom this time. So we'll just give Gatty a big round of applause here from the studio.
We'll have to make sure.
Well, I guess, we're going to address the elephant in the room first. We're going to start with you, Adam. I guess a lot of Mariners fans this morning are concerned reading what they're reading in the media about, what the Mariners may or may not be doing. You've made your opinions quite clear on Twitter already. So I guess when you read stories like this, what's your first reaction and what's your take?
Well, I didn't read the whole story, with all due respect to Dave Lewis, who put it up on SBS The World Game. I saw the first line of the story, and if anyone's tuning into this and not sure what exactly we're talking about the Mariners maybe going away from Central Coast and finding a home at Brookvale Oval on Sydney's Northern Beaches, which is where I've grown up. I grew up around the corner from Brookvale Oval and still live on the Northern Beaches, even though when I look north I can see Gosford and all the wonderful things up there. But I didn't read past the first paragraph because basically it said he's in a dispute with the council up there on the Central Coast, and it made immediate sense. He's trying to use it as a threat, Mike Charlesworth and the Central Coast Mariners, to try and get a deal across the line with the home ground up there at Gosford, which I can totally understand. It happens all the time. I don't think it's going to be the Manly Mariners. I do think it's still going to be the Central Coast Mariners, and hopefully the council see the intelligence in having the Central Coast Mariners there on the Central Coast. Only professional sporting team up there, do great things in the community, trying to build that bond with the community. I can't see how a government line can be, no, we're going to charge you this, when really, I mean, they should be playing there for free. It's ridiculous, the amount that they do for their community. But, yeah, that's my point of view.
Yeah, well, I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Adam. And for me, the timing, it really does make sense because from what I understand, the Mariners are sort of closer than they've ever been to securing management rights at the stadium, which, as any football fan in the country would know, would be an economic and a game changer for an A-League club to have management rights of the stadium. So from what I can see, the relationship between the Mariners and the Central Coast Council has certainly come along in leaps and bounds, is in a better place than it's ever been. But I guess throwing to you, Gaddy, as someone, a Mariners fan since day one and someone who's obviously been prominent in the media with your hat on. What's your take on the situation? Again, similar to what we asked Adam, when you read something like that, what's your take and what's your impression?
Tyson's not going to happen. If it happens, I'll give up fishing. There you go.
You've heard it here first, guys. That's a huge call from Gaddy.
It is. It'd be a disaster. And look, Mike's a pretty astute businessman, and we know what's going on here. Adam's picked it straight away. I think we all picked it straight away. It's a bit of a blind man's bluff here at the moment. I don't think it's going to happen. It'd be absolute disaster if it did. The Central Coast deserves the Mariners. They're not going to go anywhere. They shouldn't have to go anywhere. And, I think that's the end of the story. It's a bit of a bluff, and we'll see what happens from there.
I guess touching on the stadium, Adam, you mentioned it earlier, but I guess looking around the country at the deals that A-League clubs have with their stadiums, obviously we've had Brisbane come along and do some fantastic work with the Logan Council there to get their new training ground up and running. We're seeing similar things around the A-League, and it's obvious that a relationship between an A-League club and the council is crucial to the success, I guess. Looking at something like this, from what you know, could you just give the Mariners fans, I guess, a bit of an insight to how positive it would be for the club or for any club to have management rights of their own venue?
God, it means next to everything. You've looked how the MLS has exploded, and there's a number of factors why the MLS has exploded, but one very critical reason is that they've got government help to build stadiums, and they've been able to go into those stadiums, football specific, and look after it and expand the club that way. I think that is the way forward for Australian football, and on every level, and Gaddy would probably agree as well, and I've noticed in the last 2 to 3 years especially, that football, the pennies kind of dropped with football and the link to government, be it local, be it state or especially federal, in terms of getting funding for the things that need to be funded, because it is an international sport that brings Australia to the world and the world to Australia. So that's the way to really improve your facilities with that government help. And the most simplest form here between club and local council, hopefully it does happen. But yeah, not having to pay the massive overheads and not having to clear 10,000 people through the gate to even consider making a profit on just putting on an A-League game, or a much lesser crowd to put on a W-League game, it doesn't make financial sense. There's no long-term benefit whatsoever. So if you can get those management rights of stadiums, if you can't own the whole thing by yourself, if you can't build it yourself, which is an astronomical cost, especially in a small market like Australia, next best thing is to have management rights. And that, while it wouldn't be a game changer for the Central Coast Mariners, it would certainly help in so many areas for the club.
You were talking...
Actually, I agree.
Yeah, Gaddy.
Sorry, Tyson, I was going to say, I think it would be a game changer for the Mariners. I think it's something that they would absolutely need, and I think it would turn the club around save so much cost. I was privy to some plans that Sean Milcamp showed me some time ago regarding what they could do at Central Coast Stadium, and they were certainly an eye-opener. If they could get those plans off the ground, it would be magnificent. So, Adam, I think it would be, for a club like the Mariners, it would be a game changer.
I think, Gaddy, Adam mentioned how crucial it is for these clubs, whether it's a national government looking to host a World Cup or a local professional team looking to host a game. The council and the government support is so crucial. I guess for someone like you who's had a bit to do with the Wanderers and so many clubs in Australian football, you've probably seen firsthand, I guess, how detrimental it can be for a football club if their relationship with the council isn't looked after, but also the huge rewards that you can get from having such a good relationship with your local council and your government.
Absolutely, Tyson. My 9 months at the Wanderers was an eye-opener. What they've done out there at Blacktown is absolutely stunning. I think, Adam, you've seen some of it. It's an absolutely amazing complex, and it's been done through the support of the Blacktown Council. And they've got 9 or 10 training fields. They've got massive dressing rooms, gym, everything you could ask for, wish for. I think the setup out there is almost as good, if not better, than some European setups. So, if you can get that support from council and local government, then it's massive. And the Wanderers are leading the way in that regard, and they're showing what can be done.
Before we do move on to some football chat, I wanted to float another idea with you two that's, I guess, been spoken about in Mariners circles. I'm hearing around the traps that there are some organisations getting together and there are some discussions happening around a community ownership model. So we've seen all over the world, whether it be Barcelona with their socios or whether it be German football clubs, there has been, I guess, huge success stories when fans get ownerships of football clubs, when fans, have votes in huge decisions when it comes to their football club. Looking at a club like the Central Coast, looking at the importance of keeping the club on the Central Coast, Adam, we'll start with you, I guess. Could you see something like this working in the A-League or on the Central Coast where the fans get involved, they buy a stake in the club and they really have that genuine ownership of a football club? What are your thoughts when you hear something like this?
Oh, it's a romantic idea, but whether or not, one thing I've kind of learned of doing a politics podcast at the moment as well, power is an interesting thing because it's hard to get, but even harder to give up. And for an A-League owner to give it up and leave some of the power with someone else while he or she remains the majority owner is an interesting concept. I'd love for fans to have a little say in a financial stake and then by proxy a say in how the club is run. But how it manifests itself going forward remains to be seen. We know Mike Charlesworth is a guy who's open to just about any idea that's put in front of him, and he'll think about it with an idea to having to think outside that square. But whether it can happen anytime soon remains to be seen, because at the moment they're still sorting out exactly how the A-League model looks and the financial model looks. And then down the track, perhaps we can move down the path of a 50+1 setup that they have with the Bundesliga or some of the other examples they set. I can't see it happening anytime soon, but I wouldn't be against it.
And Gaddy, what would your thoughts be if all of a sudden the Mariners become a community-owned, fan-owned, fan-voted organisation? Would you buy a stake, and what are your thoughts on the idea?
If some of my horses can keep winning, I'd certainly buy a stake. But put me down. I'm always up to supporting the club. But as Adam says, look, it's a very tricky one. Someone like Mike Charlesworth or any owner, they're putting a hell of a lot of money into a club situation, and they're not going to be told by the run-of-the-mill fan who might be putting in their $100, how to run the club or what risks they should be taking. So, look, it's a difficult one. I'd love to see some sort of community involvement, whether it's financial or not. I don't know, but I think Adam's on the right track there with that one.
Yeah, well, I guess before we move on to just the general A-League chat, as someone who works very closely with the people still at the Mariners, and I think you two will agree, if you work or you have a conversation with anyone at the club, there's no one like the staff that are there at the moment that's, I guess, have the commitment and the love for the Central Coast. The people that work there that are behind the scenes, they're all from the Central Coast. They all want it to stay on the Central Coast, and I think that anything other than that, would be, like you said, ridiculous to think about. So, as far as, like you said, hopefully that they can continue to work very closely and very positively with Central Coast Council. Hopefully things progress positively with the stadium, and when things get back to normal, we can see the ball rolling at Central Coast Stadium. Speaking of which, we've had a bit of news over the last 24 hours. I'll start with you, Adam. In terms of a sprint finish to the season, different ways that they could get the season back up and running. Could you give the fans a bit of an update as to what you know about the latest update with, maybe players going back to training or when we could see a football kicked in the A-League?
Yeah, I can see Gatt. He's happy he doesn't have to deal with this anymore on a day-to-day basis and try and scurry for a bit of information. But we do miss Gatty's reports in the Australian each and every day. But what I heard from the PFA yesterday, John Didalitza, we did a podcast with him for Fox Football, was that they're looking at a hub model, so bringing everyone into the Sydney area, and possibly that means games up there on the Central Coast as well, but games behind closed doors. And they're looking at maybe nailing down exactly their plans in about a week's time, which is good news. But I reckon they'll need a month lead in to from training starting to actually playing games, and they think they can get it done within a month. So some teams have only 3 or 4 games left. Some teams have 6 or 7 games left. Getting it all done, playing the finals in 1 week, and we're done for the season. Then they can have a proper reset and a good think about what they're going to do next season. So it is moving. It's a totally different way to doing things like the NRL when someone sneezes and it's front page news in the NRL and they're playing everything out through the media there, the AFL to a lesser extent. Football's doing it totally different behind closed doors, and it's hard to get information at the moment, but that's the latest information I can give.
And Gaddy, I guess to add to what Adam's just given us, what are you hearing around the traps? You're a man on the pulse, I guess. We saw that Fox Sports have paid their instalment, which can only be positive news for the game, I guess. What are you hearing around the traps, and what's the latest that you're seeing on the Australian football front?
Yeah, look, I heard a couple of weeks ago that along the lines of what Adam was saying, they'll start, I think, in July, and they'll play the season out within a couple of weeks, 2 games a week. I think that might be the plan, and then the final series. So it makes a lot of sense, and then you can have some clean air to start the new season. But we've got to get it over and done with. And I think the FFA are handling it pretty well, to be honest. I think they've been very sensible. I've been very impressed with James Johnson and the way he's been going about things, very measured, very, very relaxed, very astute man. And I think finally we've got the real leader we've wanted for the game in this country, and I'm really confident that someone like James Johnson can do a great job.
Yeah, Gaddy, I think anyone in Australian football at the moment would find it hard to disagree with that. I think from the get-go, I don't think there's a sporting administrator in the world that has had the challenge that he's had when he came in and was sort of the first one to needing to deal with coronavirus with the Matildas, and then everything that's happening in the A-League, Socceroos, Matilda circles. And I think up until this point, he's been doing a fantastic job. On the A-League front, Adam, we'll go back to you, I guess, with playing behind closed doors, a sprint finish to the season. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I guess there's a lot of innovative things that broadcasters want to do with sport. I guess, do you see the back end of the season? Is there anything that you would like to see done from an innovation point of view, whether it be with the format, with the broadcast? Is there any opportunities that we could look at as a sport here to maybe test out in the back end of the season and see how it goes?
I wouldn't mind some double headers. Now, that's going to depend on infrastructure around games, like double headers at the same game back to back. Pretty much, but that is going to depend on if you've got dressing rooms, if you can get teams apart. You can't go within 50 metres of another team, or whatever the social distancing rules are around sport when it comes back. But I wouldn't mind seeing that. I want to see. One of the greatest days in A-League history for me was Big Wednesday all those years ago when they played 5 games in the one hit. Why not do something like that? Just have a festival of football one Saturday. Do something like that. Hopefully they can get that off the ground. Look, it's going to be different. I was there at the Derby, the Sydney Derby, when there was no one there. I was there at the last game that was played, Newcastle and Melbourne City, if I'm allowed to mention the Jets on this particular forum. But it was just weird. It was just odd. But that's the world they live in. And just back to resetting the A-League, I have heard that the clubs are really reluctant to come back with the new season behind closed doors. Because the match day revenue is a significant part for a lot of clubs, if not all clubs, of their overall revenue and their overall business model. So I've got a feeling that we might not be back with the new season until January, February next year. Who knows what's going to happen there, but hopefully we can see some football. I'd love to see 5 games in one day on one Saturday or Sunday, and it's just a bludgeathon on the couch.
And Gaddy, I guess, anything that you wanted to add to that? Moreover, obviously, you're the resident E-League expert. Obviously, you've been immersing yourself in esports in this break too. So anything...
Sorry, you just broke up there, Tyson. What did you say?
In addition to Adam's ideas...
thing you're talking about? Yeah.
We wanted to hear about your favourite esports team and anything that you think will improve the A-League.
I like Adam's idea of double headers or a big Saturday, where you play all the 5 games in the one day. I reckon that's a terrific idea. I just want to get back to a game, to be honest. Now that I'm retired, I just want to get back into the stands there as a fan with a beer in one hand and a pie in the other, and then shouting abuse at Adam on the sidelines.
Well, there was one particular game, actually, where I think the fans thought Adam was the VAR and he copped quite a serving at Central Coast Stadium. So I look forward to seeing that as well.
I think I was there. I think he almost ended up with the pie in the back of his head.
Would have covered up my bald spot, actually. I would have liked that.
Adam, you mentioned before you're doing a political podcast, but you've also been working on one surrounding Usain Bolt's time at the Mariners and his journey into football. What can we expect to hear on that?
Yeah, the joy of working from home. I've actually worked out this program. I can do it at home. I don't know, like yesterday I did about 3 different things. I was on Fox Sports News, I did another phone call, I did another thing, and then I was doing a podcast at home. I didn't need to leave my bedroom, essentially. I had to walk from my bedroom to the lounge room and back again, and that was pretty much it. So doing it all from home, and I've caught up with the bloke standing next to you, Carly. So Tyson's given me some good stories. It's just the backstory to what was happening. I don't know if Gaddy could help me out with a few funny tales about Usain. So, it's just the back of the everyone's seen the Michael Jordan documentary and what a wonderful storytelling example it is. Now, this is not going to be that example, but I want people to know exactly what went down behind the scenes, why it did happen, because it was a surreal time. It was a surreal time, and whether or not you agree with him becoming a footballer or didn't, you can appreciate the story. And that's what I'm going to tell. I don't know when it's going to be ready, but hopefully soon.
Look forward to it, Adam. I think it was, as you say, it was a surreal time. Look, I absolutely, it was a pain in the neck, but I still absolutely enjoyed it, because to see the Mariners, to get that sort of publicity, to see, I don't know, 20 cameras out there and 100 journalists, a training session just to watch Usain Bolt was absolute madness. And I know Tyson enjoyed himself running around like a blue-ass fly, but it was absolutely fantastic. And I wonder if we can bring someone else out at Tyson.
Well, mate, I think, speaking of bald patches,
What about Michael Jordan?
That Usain Bolt period gave me one as well. So it was a busy old time. But, I think that pretty much wraps us up, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you both on. And, we can't thank you enough for joining us.
However, Gaddy, we do need to, I know Tyson mentioned it before, our E-League team. We are looking for an E-League manager. So if you do have a bit of extra time, let us know, because we would love to have you on board. We can teach you how to use the heat press machine. You can get all their kit sorted and all of that.
I'll get my son to do it. There you go.
Well, we're going to have Gaddy then.
We'll still have Gaddy,
Gaddy. That'll be fantastic.
He's still got a Gaddy. Even though he's a Sydney FC fan.
Don't say that.
What a shame. Gents, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure. And hopefully see you at a football ground soon.
Great to talk, guys. Really appreciate it.
Anytime, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Yeah, well, I guess, that's sort of the hot topic there. And it's good to, I guess, discuss it with not only people from the Mariners, but I guess 2 people that between the two of them have seen it all in Australian football, whether it's, covering the NSL, covering the Premier League. These 2 guys have sort of seen it all. But I just wanted to, I guess, reiterate one of the key things that both Gaddy and Adam spoke about there, and I guess it's the importance of the relationship with, I guess, the local community, with the Central Coast Council. And like you were saying, I think there are so many signs to see that relationship is better than it's ever been. I know that, that it obviously was a complicated time for the club and the council. There was the relationship they had there with Gosford Council, and then the councils merged, and then Central Coast Council. But if, I guess from an outsider looking in, to me, if there's discussions being had around management rights of the stadium, if there's discussions being had around how the Mariners can be more involved there at the stadium and take a bit of ownership, I think that can only be a positive thing. And like I said, I can't stress enough how much the people behind the scenes at the Mariners, knowing them all quite well, how committed they are to making sure that the Central Coast Mariners continue to be a success here on the Central Coast and put the Central Coast first before anything else. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Carly, but I think the commitment to the Central Coast, all you need to do is meet or talk to someone from the club to see how clear that is.
No, 100% agree with you. And like I said before, we'll do everything we can to make sure that we stay with the palm trees, because, we live and breathe it. Yeah, and like we were talking about on the interview, there has been some interesting news doing the rounds that there is a group of people who are seriously working hard behind the scenes to bring together a legal entity, to seriously look at a proper structure, whether it's financial, political, and bringing fans and bringing the community together to buy a stake in the Mariners. For me, it's been the community club since day one. It's on the back of the jersey. It has been for so many years. And if any club was to ever band together and make this community ownership work,
then why can't it work on the Central Coast?
I agree.
I think there'd be thousands of people out there that would want their stake, that would want their say. And like I said, we've got an organisation, a football club like Barcelona that turns over $1 billion a year, that everything that they do is owned by the fans and voted on by the fans. So there's a model there. There's a lot of excitement, and hopefully that's something that the club can continue to explore and ensure the success and the location here on the Central Coast.
Definitely agree.
Well, I think that wraps us up for the show. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we really appreciate you joining us here again on a Thursday. Thanks for having me again.
No, thank you. It's been good. And so next week we'll also be talking to Gabby Blanche, who's our NPL women's captain. She's also a coach within our women's academy as well, so it'll be great to hear from her. And if there's anything you want to hear or anyone you want us to interview or anything like that, make sure you let us know. And we'll see you in a fortnight's time.
See you in 2 weeks.